Hey, I'm so glad you're here today. So today I'm going to play with a altered journal that's all about myself. So I folded all of the pages before, and so you literally just fold them right into the spine. It doesn't need any glue. It doesn't need any, and you just make sure the spine and the edges are lined up. And now I'm cutting out some cardboard to do some braces underneath. So I left the front and the back pages so that I could glue those down. And then I'm using this and I'm just scoring so that there's a flappy bit. This is going to go on the top of the book and the bottom of the book. So it's going to attach, and so it's going to sit up kind of like this. So I'm going to washi tape these together where I think I want the book to go, and then that gives me a pretty good idea of what the curved piece will be. So my youngest is in my room, so I'm just making my curved piece. And so that's a little bigger than what I'd want it. So I'm just gonna cut it down a bit. And my tape let go. And so then this is gonna be a piece on here, and I'm just making it work with the cardboard. So this whole process actually took me about a little over 2 hours to do. So we're on 8 times speed, and I'm just going to do the same thing for the other side. And so this is going to be a altered book for some journaling, for reflections and that kind of thing for my year. So I wanted to make something pretty that can sit on my table beside me, and so that I can use it. And so that's my little person showing me that she did one too. So she's 12, so she can fold pages and make them look awesome. You can too. And so I'm just kind of making this fit and work the way I am. I'm trimming off these pieces. This took a lot of finessing. Like, this is only a couple minutes in with the cardboard pieces for the video part of things, but the actual doing this was quite a bit longer. So just dry fitting this again to make sure it's where I kind of want it. And that circle, like the arc with the base of the book, isn't quite how I'd do it if I did it again, but that's okay. This is the first time I've ever done this. So I have these pieces out, and that's okay. I like that. I'm going to keep those. Some people fold these white pieces in as well. Some people, I'm going to glue them down. Some people glue them down and then put scrapbook or pattern paper over top. It's totally up to you. Not everybody does these brace pieces, but I'm going to do a brace piece because I just want to make sure it stays together. So I'm unclogging my tacky glue and getting it in there. And so I drew a line. I labeled what it was when I pulled it out. I drew a line, so when I shove it back in for this paper or this cardboard, I know exactly where it is, and then it's where I think it should be. So, and then these are the side pieces, and I want to cover them because that would be really ugly. So I have this scrap piece of paper. It looks like maybe, I don't know what it is. I don't remember. And then I'm going to cut these corners out so that I can fold the bits. So I'm going to kind of fringe the top, and I'm going to fringe the other part to the bottom of this arch. And then it just means that you can fold them all in and still get that nice circle shape. So in, done, done, done. And that's why I cut those 2 corner pieces out, because otherwise you would have seen those. And then this one isn't as big of a deal. In, good to go. And then just to keep all those folded bits in, because I did use tape. I'm going to put a black piece on here too, and that just, with my Nuvo, will hold all that nice and tight together. And then this is second version of this. So the thing about these kind of altar books that I like so far, being the first one I've done, is all those pages give you tucking points. So my plan is for this altar journal is to make little tags each month, and I can reflect on the intentions I have for the month, what kind of things that like I want to accomplish. Then I can do some reflection pieces too. So what were my major wins? What were some of my challenges? I do a grateful or a gratitude log every single day. So what was I grateful for? Those kind of things all go on a tag or something of the sorts. And then at the end of the year, if I keep up with it, hopefully I do, I'll end up with 12 months of different journaling. And they don't have to be big, but I just wanted somewhere pretty that I could put it. It's kind of along the line of one little word. So, but I want to do it a little bit differently than the one little word kind of thing. So, yes, some of my intentions and that kind of stuff will be definitely in that same scheme of things, but some of it's going to be totally different. So, and I didn't want it in a binder because I find when I do that in a binder, I just forget about it. And so I am getting the side pieces on, so I've glued the tab pieces to the side piece, and then I'm using washi tape to make sure that it is stuck together. And I decided I liked these pieces of paper because they were a nice yellowy color. And I just got this book from our salvage center. We have one that's connected to our landfill where people can drop stuff off, and so they charge $2 a book. You could get one from one of those book libraries, like the neighborhood ones, and then it would be free. That's where my daughter got hers from. Is we have a little book library in front of our neighbor's house, and so she grabbed a couple of books from there, and she did this whole process as well. Then I'm gluing these leaflets down. I'm using my spatula there, and it has some paint and stuff on it, and I wasn't worried about the paint, and it actually just distressed that a little bit. I wanted to add a little bit to the side of the pages here in the bottom, so I liked this lace for the black, so it's going to go back on the bottom and on the top. I snuck a card in there as well, just so I can see where I would want some of that stuff to go. And so I found this film strip. It's literally a film strip, but nothing that I'd ever want to print. So I'm going to use it on here and just pulling out different things. I found this flower. All of this is really old stuff. So it was a great to get some of this out of my stash and onto something. So the one I put up on the top is a bird with a birdhouse, but it's hard to see. You'll see it when I tip the book, but it has that green color in it. So I was pulling in some more kind of vintage colors, I guess. So that dusty pink and the olive green and some of these red flowers. Black and whites. I found this wonderful little Project Life card that came in a Project Life kit once upon a time, so I thought that works really well. And then just gonna get some stuff on here. So these flowers are actually falling apart, so that's lovely, and so getting them on is probably good. And then I pulled, this one is just a fabric flower, but it had a really ugly plastic stem, so I just pulled the stem out, folded it over, and I'm going to use some glue on there. And so I'm using this one. I decided to use the Nuvo. I did start to try and use the tacky, but it's really thick. So Oh, and here's my daughter and her 2 that she's done in this time period. So she's like, Mom, I need you to help me do the sides. I'm like, yep, but you're going to have to wait. These are 49 in market stamps. And then these cloth roses are going to go on. And then these little bits of these dried flowers are going to go on. And then I smudged some glue on top where the flowers were breaking off. And yes, you can still see the glue. It dried mostly clear, but it does have a different texture on it. But it doesn't bother me. I'm just really actually need it to stay on and not leave pieces everywhere. So now I'm working on that top piece. So those 2 flowers that I just pulled out are from a napkin. So I'm just going to trim quickly around them and then just a little bit of glue. And those are going to go on. I'm going to try and get most of these flowers on, like those blue and green and border ones are going to go on. And then the other part of the cloth red one went behind that bird cage, and I put a button there as well. I found this clock that I've had forever. And then I'm going to put my word of the year on here, which is nourish. It was going to be flourish, and then I put an N on instead, and the N's not going to come off. So now it's nourish, and that's okay. I didn't have an I left in this one, so I used the J, and it looks kind of funny right now, but I'm going to put a flower on top and hide it, because why not? I could have cut it off as well, but when I wanted to cut it off, it was not going to come off. So I was going to try and cut it off there when I was pulling it off, and it was going to rip the bottom. So I was like, no, it's okay. And then I pulled this off and noticed that it didn't have as tight of a connection as I wanted. I think what I would do next time is pull the paper around the back side first, so before gluing. But live and learn. It's my first one. And then I'm putting this sticky lace on because I like it. Another thing that I would look at next time I do one of these is on the pages the words are pretty high on the top margin, but there's lots of room on the bottom, and that's okay. But I think if I was looking again for another book, I would look for something that was either more centered on the page or had more of the same kind of margins, which is, it's all good and I still like it, but I'm getting pretty close to being done. So this was still not holding like I wanted it to, so I thought about putting some ribbon. I didn't have enough of this ribbon or I probably would have used it. And so what I decided to do is take some of this, oh, I'm still trying ribbon. Nope. So then I take some of this paper and I connect it on to the back and the top of the book. And so you don't really see much of this side anyway, but it was bugging me. So, and it just gives a little bit more security for keeping the book together. But I would do this on the inside of my flappy bit, maybe, if I could next time. I don't know. It was one of those things. And now my daughter's taking my Nuvo and she's making herself a little book for her book. So you'll get to see it at the top scene in a second, but she's like, Mom, I'm going to use your stuff. I put this tag on, and because I'm kind of paying attention to her, I put it on the wrong way, and I went, okay. So at least it wasn't dried yet, and I could just pull it off and move it. So yeah, it is what it is. And just put in a couple little bits and pieces on. Put a button here because there's a button on top. Just holding it down. It's a cute little black one. And now I'm doing a little bit on the side, and I didn't turn my book, but it just gets a little bit of that ribbon that's on the top, but you'll see close-ups here in a second. And I also didn't do the process for some of the tags I'm going to show you for January and February, but I am going to show you what it kind of looks like. And then there's quite a bit of close-ups here. So just showing the texture of the pages and some of the decoration that's on here. You can see the glue, but oh well. Only if you're close up and looking, actually. But I added some cardstock hearts in some glitter colors, and those are some of the tags that are in there. Here's my January tags. So my other side. And then these are the start of my February ones. I haven't done anything with the February ones yet, but that's what they look like. Thank you so much for watching today. If you liked my video, I appreciate the thumbs up. And you haven't subscribed to me yet, I would appreciate you having you here. Have a great day.